Catching up with Nick Underhill, Neworleans.football here on OTB. I do want to go to the other side of the football. I know that a lot of questions for the Saints are going to be on offense, but there's a defensive player that just a year ago you traded up in the second round from 45 to 41 to select Kool-Aid McKinstry, and I feel like we don't hear a lot about Kool-Aid. What's the plan for him moving forward? I know he's changed jersey numbers. I feel like that's the only news that I've really seen because, Nick, as you know, like if you're a second round pick, like you got to be a dude. But certainly if they trade up 45 to 41, like that expectation goes up even more so. So what's the outlook for Kool-Aid McKinstry heading into his second year?
That's the thing I really want to see here, man. Like it's felt a little bit too easy for these quarterbacks, and it's 7-on-7s. Like they're going to complete more passes in that setting than anything else. But like it's been automatic, and you're talking about a rookie and a fifth-round pick. Like there should be a little bit more resistance. So I just want to see a couple plays get made out here. Theoretically, like I think the system should suit Kool-Aid pretty well. Like Staley likes to run a lot of the same stuff that Saban runs at Alabama, and he was good there. Like he got picked in the second round out of that system. So, he should be more comfortable in what he's doing, some of the pattern match stuff and all that. Like, I think it should fit for him. But yeah, I mean, I thought the rookie year, was just okay. I think he's somebody that really needs to take a big leap this year. And I think he's kind of like quietly one of the more important guys on the team right now. Cause like if he solidifies one of those positions, you at least have an answer. If he doesn't, and then Alontae Taylor, like he's a free agent at the end of this season, you might have nothing at cornerback. And like, how are you going to address those needs? You don't want to be doing it in free agency. You don't want to be in a position where you have to be the team that pays Jair Alexander, who, 7 games last year, 7 games a year before that. I don't think you want to be in a position of weakness at 2 cornerback spots because, like, how do you address that? And then, like, what if your quarterback isn't good? And where's the wide receiver coming in to go behind Chris Olave if you don't want to pay him? Where are you getting your pass rushers? Like, you're talking like 5-6 premium positions that you'd have to address. Like, granted, you have cap space, but you don't want to buy your way out of that. Like, you want to be able to do it from a position of strength. So him hitting, I think, is like quietly one of the bigger storylines of the season.
All right, Nick, give me I'm interested in Kellen Moore, how his coaching style, how he presents himself on the field. Every coach is different, right? Every coach is different. Some of them are yellow, some of them are laid back, some of them are teachers. They're just all different. So tell me about Kellen Moore, like on the practice field. What's his demeanor? How does he interact with the players? Because he's probably not that much older than a lot of the guys. He might be younger than some of the guys that are on the team. But like, so talk to us about how that is, how he's just been perceived, and the guys have really taken to Kellen so far.
Yeah, he seems really smart, and that's the thing you kind of hear from everyone. Like when they're talking football, like they really like him. And I think one of the guys was telling me the other day, like one of the things that he's done that from the meeting perspective, player perspective, that's smart is just kind of tying himself to Nussmeier, because you kind of get some of that like younger, new school, more relaxed, relatable approach from him, and then he knows how to pass it off to Nussmeier, and Nussmeier can be kind of more like the old school, uncle who tells you how it is type guy. And, I think that blend has come together really well. I think he kind of presents exactly how you would think he presents. Like he is just kind of the same all the time when you look at him. On the field kind of carries himself the same way that when you look at him, like you get kind of what you expect. But what was kind of revealing for me is LSU had that coaching clinic and he spoke on it. And, I bought a ticket, threw on a hat and some glasses, sat in the back, went incognito just to kind of see how he carries himself. Yeah, Coach Nick. And I thought I was undercover, and I walk into PJ's, and someone immediately said hi to me. And I was like, all right, well, I'm busted if I go up here. But, like, look, seeing him up on that stage, like, his presence was different than it was kind of eye-opening for me. Like, when he started talking about football, like, there was a little more gusto, a little more, like, bravado, and just the way he explained things for, a regular person, like, the way he was breaking it down, it was really understandable. Like, he wasn't talking over anyone's head. He very, very much had a grasp on the concepts, how to explain it, how to teach, how to communicate. And, he kind of, you kind of felt like his shoulders went up a little bit and the chest puffed out a little bit when he was up there in his own element, as opposed to like the media setting. So, I thought that was a good thing to see there. But so far, like, I think the buy-in's really good. they're doing like these, off-field community events, and like they're getting good attendance at those, which is usually a decent sign. It kind of seems like some people are checked in just to like the general philosophy of what he's selling, like beyond football, which I think is, I don't know if it ultimately means anything, but when you're trying to build a culture, it's probably good to have that initial buy-in on kind of everything. And it seems like it's there. I've learned though that June buy-in doesn't necessarily mean anything. There's a lot of buy-in last year, and then by November there wasn't. But you don't want to see people not buying in. So I think he has it right now. And look at some of these vets out here this week, and we'll kind of see how some of that stuff goes. I do find it kind of interesting that the attendance, from the veteran aspect, is a little bit worse in the voluntary part than it was last year. But I could understand some general discouragement when the team is where it is and the quarterback retires out of nowhere. That's probably tough for guys that might be in the last year of their career, last year or two.
What's that attendance stat that you're talking about?
Just like some of the vets aren't out there. Like
right.
Just last year, it kind of felt like everybody kind of showed up. This point of the year, Alvin never does. So like him aside, but some of the guys like DeMario was kind of working out on his own a little bit. Tyron was in and out doing his thing. Cam was in and out doing his thing. Like it's just some of those guys on that side of the ball. Typically, it was just a little bit different. That's something that stands out when you're starting over a little bit. But I would probably feel a little bit discouraged if I was, a guy looking at it like it's one of the final years of my career. Like, right. But I don't know. People got off-field responsibilities. They got kids. They got different stuff going on. Don't know why people aren't there. It isn't mandatory, but when you're looking at 3 practices and you're dissecting everything, like those are one of the things that kind of stand out a little bit.
All right, there he is, our guy, Nick Underhill. Neworleans.football is the website. Nobody does it better when covering the Saints. Go check it out. Nick, we appreciate it every single week, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.